Hello, everyone, and welcome to the October session of the MBA Bites. This is an opportunity for you to watch an MBA lecture by one of our faculty members, and I will introduce you to Professor Zoltán. So Zoltán, thank you very much for joining us today. I will just quickly share my screen here, and let's get started. So, as I mentioned, we are joined here today by Professor Zoltán, and he has been with ESMT Berlin since 2005, has been Professor of Strategy since 2011, and served as Dean of Degree Programs from the same year until 2020, following his previous roles as Associate Dean since 2009 and Director of Executive MBA Program since 2007. Zoltán was named the Professor in Strategy and appointed Director Strategic Partnerships from May 23. And prior to joining ESMT, he was the McKinsey Chair in Strategy at Budapest University of Economic Sciences and Public Administration, Hungary, where he also held leadership positions as Associate Dean of the Faculty of Business Administration and Director of the university's Graduate School of Management. He is graduated as an economist in Budapest, where he also received his first doctorate degree, and he also got his second PhD at London Business School. Zoltán's research focusing on the interrelationships between ownership, firm-level strategy, competitiveness, as well as mergers and acquisitions and organizational politics. So very impressive curriculums, as you can see. So without further ado, I will hand over to Professor Zoltán. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Shared my screen. I believe it's visible. Very good. So what did you learn from this brief introduction? Welcome to you all, my dear future students in any of the MBA programs. You learned that I'm old, because otherwise I would not have been able to join ESMT practically 20 years ago. You also learned that I'm a masochist, because instead of doing an MBA and then maybe a PhD, I decided to get 2 doctorates, but I don't have an MBA, so you can beat me in that one. Yes, I do have a kind of a formal CV to which you have been just introduced, but I would not like to highlight that. I did this and that in my life. On the academic side, on the business side, as a consultant for long. But probably it's more important for you to know that I've been an educator for practically 40 years. That's the corner of my heart, doing education, which I enjoy. I'm also a family man, as you can see, but I also love students. I love them, particularly when they are right in front of me in the classroom, because then I can gain energy from them. But sometimes, as it happens, for example, because of hiccups in the world, such as COVID-19, I have students on the screen, or I have students not because of COVID, but because they sit all over the world, for example, in the Global Online MBA, which, by the way, I just finished teaching a class about half an hour ago, and I'm going to do another one, 6 p.m. in the evening starting, because of the time zone differences of our lovely students. I also have a statue in one of the Irish pubs in Berlin. Unfortunately, they misspelled my name. It says Zoltár, but I'm Zoltán with an N at the end. Nevertheless, regardless of the misspelling, I am a future teller, a fortune teller, and I know your future. It's gonna be fine, particularly if you decide to join our programs and equip yourself with all the tools necessary for you to thrive and enjoy life in business in managerial positions. What do I do? As a brief introduction, I've been fascinated by two topics throughout my professional and personal career. The first being strategy, as it has been mentioned. In that realm, I've been supporting firms to be successful in the long run, especially when they are faced with unforeseen challenges going through uncharted territories. A little bit later, but more profoundly in recent years, I've started focusing on the general management, whereby instead of supporting firms, organizations, and businesses, I've been trying to support people, individuals just like you, to be successful in their managerial journey, especially managers in the middle of organizational hierarchies who wish to climb further up, higher in the hierarchy. Again, facing challenges just like firms do. Now, how do we go about it? How shall we go about it? How do I support individuals in their managerial journey? The way I do teaching and education and facilitate teaching and learning is research-based. After all, what else could it be, given the fact that ESMT Berlin is a research-based, research-driven university? And I do believe in the power of research. I do believe in the power of theories and the practicality, the pragmatism behind the theories. But I also believe that holding theoretical lectures would bore my students to death. I'm not sure if you really want to do that. I want to hear theoretical lectures. I'm more a believer of what we call here in the house at ESMT Berlin, the participant-centered learning approach, learning philosophy, which very often uses case studies as tools to enable learning and self-development, particularly for a managerial career. For example, in the part-time MBA, I know there are people who may be interested in part-time or global online MBA, full-time MBA, executive MBA. Now, rest assured, my Introduction to General Management course, shortly called IGM, is part of all these MBA programs. There are different people here, but let me take part-time MBA as an example. In the part-time MBA, my course on Introduction to General Management, scheduled at the very beginning of the program, is practically going around a few key questions. And let me just highlight some of these questions, hoping that you find them resonating, you find these questions exciting, and you find these questions as relevant to you personally in your current or future managerial career. The first question we are looking at in my course, for example, is what is management? Now, this is like football, okay? I come from Hungary originally. I'm also holding a German passport now. And in Hungary, 10 million people, 10 million experts in football, right? Everyone has an opinion about football. Everyone has an opinion about management. And everyone believes they know what it is all about. But I think it's useful to start with this basic question, what is actually management and whether it matters? Does it make any difference? Intuitively, we would have a positive answer, a yes answer to the question, but I think it's useful to actually go a little bit behind these seemingly simplistic, simple questions to start with. Then we move to the question, do we actually still need managers? Believe it or not, there are people recently advocating that we should fire all managers. Now that doesn't give you a very positive outlook for your future, right? If this view persists and holds, then you find yourself jobless. But there is an article from a very, very famous management guru who says we should fire all managers. Do we still need managers? Now, once we are done with that sort of question, you can ask a more, in a way, intimate question. What makes a good manager? How do you ensure that you are going to be an effective manager? Very simple question, very difficult to answer, and very difficult to answer in practice through a series of managerial actions. We also look at the broad environment within which we have to manage businesses, organizations, and lead people. And this environment, the world out there, is getting volatile, it's getting very uncertain, ambiguous, complex. How do we make sense of what seems to be a chaos? How do we put order in chaos as managers in our world, right? From which we move to more organizational level challenges, for example, digital transformation, agile organizations. How do I thrive in that sort of organization that is undergoing digital transformation or agile transformation? How do I drive this? Should I actually drive these changes or should I not? And then again, broadening our perspective, we look at the societal challenges and requirements from organizations and their managers, their executives. How do we make the world a better place compared to what we find it in? How do we enrich the world through our managerial behaviors and actions? Then how do you, zooming down on the person, keep your balance? Management is a challenging job. Oftentimes people risk being burned out, losing health, having to go to the doctor more often, right? How do you keep your personal balance so that you're not just an effective manager, but a happy person at the same time, so that when you go retire, hopefully late, many years from now, you can claim that you have lived a life well. Your life has been well lived. And the last session, we dedicate to an assignment through which you can explore your own personal purpose in the world of businesses, in the world of organizations, as a manager, as a leader. That's roughly the structure of the Introduction to General Management course, taking the example of the part-time MBA program. Now, why do I focus? Why should we focus on middle managers? I think there is a strong reason for this. And the reason is that being in the middle of organizational hierarchies is very challenging. And you need to be aware of the inherent characteristics, demands that you encounter in that particular position in the middle of the organizational hierarchy in your job. Middle managers are like transmission belts between the top and the bottom of an organization, as a result of which partly they are victims of change imposed upon them from above, but at the same time, they are expected to be the drivers of change as well. They receive very general prescriptions in the form of strategic priorities, targets, performance expectations from above, which then they have to implement, execute, and make happen through the actions of people that they are responsible for. In that sense, middle managers are stuck by definition with the power of their position between various stakeholder groups, pulling them in very different directions, having very different demands on the middle managers, and these demands are typically conflicting with each other. Now, you as a middle manager, because I mean, frankly, chances are you are not going to be the next Jack Welch or Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, at least not too soon. I wish you a great career, but it is more likely, based on historical evidence, that when you graduate with an MBA, you will probably perform management somewhere in the middle of the organizational hierarchy. When you are there, you have the responsibility of your boss, but you don't have the authority of your boss, and you still have to deliver performance. Now, for you to be able to deliver performance, what do you need? You need support, you need collaboration, you need approval from above, 360-degree. You need to manage relationships with very different organizational stakeholders, players all around you. You need to be bilingual. You interpret what's coming from above so that people act upon it below you. You interpret what's coming from below so that people above understand the true nature of the business you are running. You need to be a specialist and the generalist at the same time. And I hope from all this you see already that it's very difficult for a person to perform the job of a middle manager well. And in this in the web of conflicting demands, it is very easy to get torn apart unless you have a strong composure, you know what you are dealing with, you are well prepared, you have the tools, experiences, expertise, and competencies to survive in the job, and the personal character. That's what I'm hoping trying to support, enable through this course at the beginning of MBA programs. Almost final word, I would like to warn you that being stuck, being caught in the middle is a very tough position to be in. You need to exercise caution. Referring to some research, it is tough because of the position itself, right? It's coded in the position of yours, if you're a middle manager, that you face ambiguity related to the relationship with people above you and below you. People above you have higher power than what you do. People below you have lower power. And you need to deal with both, frequently changing your attention and behavior depending on who you are dealing with. In psychology, this frequent change of the role you are playing is called vertical code switching. Vertical code switching, when once you talk to your boss, the next time you talk to your subordinates, then again with your boss, then again with the subordinates. And research shows that it's psychologically very demanding to switch between these roles very frequently, which middle managers by necessity have to do. And this difficulty, this psychological difficulty, actually has very strong personal implications. Research also shows that people having to vertically code switch all the time, such as middle managers have to, have reduced life satisfaction. They go to the doctor more often. They have increased depression, hypertension, and guess what? An increased amount of consumption regarding drug and alcohol. Don't do that. Don't do that. I have a better tactic for you to thrive in this situation, which is just learn the tools, learn the tactics, develop the skills, develop the competencies that are appropriate for the situation you are in. As a middle manager, choose your tools from the toolbox for the purpose and be aware of what you're capable of achieving. Oh, and by the way, once you do a program of this kind, you will realize, as I'm getting the feedback from many students of the past, that you are capable of achieving much more than you ever believed you would. Enabling you to make your own decisions instead of becoming a victim of the position of yours, being in the middle of organizational hierarchies as a manager, as a leader. You can make your own decisions, drive your life, again, making sure that you will claim upon retirement that you had a life well lived. That's what I hope you achieve. That's what I try to support in my course. Again, based on research, but practically using a lot of case studies, situational discussions to help you achieve your goals. I want to thank you so much for attention. I'm going to stop sharing. And as announced already, I'm staying a few minutes in case there are any questions whatsoever. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Professor Zoltán. If anyone wants to ask any questions about the lecture that we just had, feel free to use the Q&A section on the bottom of your screen. So on the bottom of the Zoom call, you will have here the Q&A with a small interrogation point, and you can just click on that, type in your question. Professor Zoltán will be here with us for another 5 minutes if you have any questions.
And thank you so much for those flying hands. They make my screen, one of the 3 monitors I have here, very colorful and bright and happy. You make me happy. Thank you.
Yeah, once again, if you have any question, okay. That's an interesting question for you.
There's a question.
Yeah.
There's a question. What is Zoltán's favorite case study from 2024 and why? I have 3 different case studies and then 2. Sorry, it's going to take 2 minutes to answer the question. The first case study that I really consider one of my favorites is about someone called Eric Peterson. Eric Peterson is a middle manager who got this appointment right after graduating with a Harvard MBA. The case is about his struggles in the middle of an organization where he has general management responsibility for a division launching a new product in the context of a very large, diversified conglomerate of medical devices and similar products. The case comes in 5 episodes, of which the students only read the first long introductory episode as a starter. All other episodes are distributed in the classroom. As we discuss the case, it practically feels almost a full day, at the end of which there is one more case study written from the perspective of the boss of Eric Peterson, about the same events described in all the other cases. This gives us the wonderful opportunity to look at the same situation from very different perspectives, bring in the experience of students in the classroom, because the issues we are discussing in the case are very common, so to speak. Many of our students have experienced similar challenges, similar issues. And the feedback indicates that this case that I've been using for about 5 years now is still, as of 2024, one of the best learning experiences of theirs. Students, some of them already graduated, some of them are actually doing it now. It's still one of the best experiences for them to prepare for a managerial career after graduation. 2 other cases I wrote myself, realizing that the cases that are available for professors like ourselves through public sources are not always serving the purpose properly, the purpose that I want to achieve with my students. So I wrote 2 cases with the help of 2 former students of mine. And one of them is about digital and agile transformation and managerial challenges and challenges in the middle of organizational hierarchy in the context of digital and agile transformation. The other one is about the development of a new business model. Again, just an interesting story. And I'm currently working on 2 new cases, again, with the support of 2 former students of mine. Both of them are residing in the US. One of them is in Silicon Valley. Very interesting stories, again, kind of depicting rather common challenges, but poorly understood challenges of managers in the middle of organizational hierarchies, which may also include someone who holds the CEO title, but there is another CEO above him, so he's still in the middle, but at the top of his own organization. So very unique challenges. Those are the ones that I still find super exciting as of today. I hope that answers the question. The second is, what's the strategy behind the way you design the course for your students? What I try to do is I look at the students and I imagine what is it that they need compared to what is it that they have, from which I'm able to articulate specific, explicit learning purposes, a set of learning purposes that we need to achieve together through a series of discussions. And these are typically purposes that revolve around concepts and life situations. And once you're able to bring together seemingly very generic and general concepts with very practical life situations, then you are able to actually learn from this and apply the learning, the insight you gained from the discussions in similar situations using the same set of concepts through the lens of which you understand your own situation better. So once I have the learning purpose, then I designed, in a way, a symphony, okay, which has da-da-da-da at the beginning and the bang crescendo at the end. And then it's just the wave of the discussion and the insights as they are emerging from our discussions that I try to sort of orchestrate and conduct in the classroom, whether physical or virtual. That's roughly the strategy in a nutshell. Okay. Do I just focus on managers in the private economy, also in other organizations? Okay. I have had many students who come from non-business, strictly speaking, environments. The knowledge, the body of knowledge and insights that we are using, generating in the course are not equally, but largely applicable to any organizations that have managers and leaders in it. Regardless of business, NGO, government, whatever. At the end of the day, what is management? Managing is achieving results through the work of other people. How do you define those results? Whether it's profit or triple bottom line or impact, such as NGO or public policy, that's a definition of the result, which you still need to achieve through the work of other people, right? So in that sense, it's not that much of a difference from the perspective of my course, whether someone comes from business or NGO or government or whatever. Now, this is different, of course, for many other courses, say finance and marketing, in the program. But from my perspective, from the perspective of my course, Introduction to General Management, I think people find it equally useful. What's the most important, what do you think is the most beneficial thing about short, long-term student can gain from your course? Awareness, understanding, confidence, and courage. In that order. Why have you decided to major in strategy? Because it was super exciting. I got excited by strategy in my first university studies, so-called bachelor level. I just fell in love with this. I wrote my dissertation about the topic. I wrote my first doctorate on the topic, the second one. I did my consulting in strategy with pretty large firms as well. I did some consulting on mergers and acquisitions. I'm just loving it. It's super exciting. Any difficulty in teaching international students? No, but yes. No, because international students simply make the whole discussion richer. It's just more perspectives, richer aspects. It's not more difficult. It's in a way easier and way much more fun. Okay, but it's difficult sometimes personally, and our host has fallen into this trap as well. So you may have noticed I'm not a very formal person, so I like going by first name, but sometimes people call me Professor Antal Mokos. I don't even hear that. And people coming from certain cultures, international students, they have this inclination that they want to use formal title and surname, family name combined, which is very strange to my ears. But then the common ground is Professor, the formal title, and first name, Zoltán. I find it funny. Okay, so I don't find it difficult at all. On the contrary, it's fantastic to have international students. Oh, and mind you, I think I'm being considered international to some extent as well. Born in Hungary, graduated with a PhD from London Business School, now being here in Germany, and basically having taught in the US, in India, different countries of Europe, and the Middle East as well. So, your middle name is also Zoltán. I like that. Thank you. What changes? Okay, I don't know. Let me ask the host, because you are very kind. You keep asking questions, but I think there is an agenda in the schedule here. How about just I answer the last two questions and then we are good, okay?
Sounds great.
I love getting the questions, my dear friends, but I think, yeah, in the interest of some order and organization, okay? So what in strategic management do you consider most significant in recent years, and how influence your teaching approach? Oof. This is very difficult, very complicated, and I have a not so easy to accept answer, okay? Strategic management is a field, like many others, that is relatively slowly moving and then experiencing a big kind of brouhaha break, a great insight, and then slowly moving again. The last big brouhaha, and then slowly moving event was when some people came up with the idea of dynamic capabilities. And sorry, we don't have the time to go into further details, but feel free to Google, search for the name of Thies, yeah, Professor Thies, dynamic capabilities, you will find it. That was a big idea. Now, the whole strategic management, not the whole, but the large part of it is all about innovation and disruption, and the boundaries between traditional strategic management and entrepreneurship are getting blurred. Now, whether this is good or bad, I don't want to judge, but that's a development in more recent years. What makes strategy a difficult or easy topic? It's basically the intellectual challenge. Okay, let me answer it indirectly. If you like jazz, whoever is asking this, you must be familiar with the name of, oh gee, I'm getting tired. I tell you, there was this amazing jazz player and jazz composer who once said, making things complicated is easy, but making complicated things simple, dead simple, that's creativity. To some extent, strategy is like this. Strategy appears to be complex until you figure it out, and then it's that simple. Bringing complexity down to simplicity, well, at least simple, but powerful, that's the challenge in strategizing, okay? And therefore, it is difficult because it's looking very complex, and it takes hell of a lot of time and effort to actually cut through the chase and understand what you really want to do. What advice would you give students who come from a completely different academic background so that they are ready for the course? Check yourself with the help of our admission department and let them decide whether a particular program is okay for you. They have experience, they are experts, and they will advise you if a particular type of a program is not the best fit for you, and you need to switch to another one because that might be a better one for you. That would be my simple advice. And I think now we draw the line because I see our host is like, guarding the schedule. Is it okay?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a brilliant lecture and really engaging content. And thank you very much for all the questions from the participants. Now, if you allow me, I will share briefly a presentation of 10 minutes about the school. So if you're interested in learning more with Zoltán and other faculty members, I will share some details about the MBA programs. Thank you very much, Professor Zoltán.
Thank you. With your permission, I now leave. I hope to see many of you back in the classroom. Ciao.
Ciao. So now I'm going to share some details about ESMT Berlin and our MBA program. So let's get started. So as you can see here on the screen, this is our building, the facade that is located in the heart of Berlin. And we are a world-leading business school in the heart of Berlin, triple accredited, which only 1% of all the business schools across the globe have this triple accreditation. So we are in this very selected group. And we have the mission, from the heart of Europe, we create and impart new knowledge to advance business and society, and we develop entrepreneurial leaders who act responsibly and think globally. And here you can have an overview of the companies that founded ESMT Berlin around 22 years ago. And here you can see what is special about ESMT. So first of all, for all of our MBA programs, we have a very modern and relevant curriculum, as you saw the example from Professor Zoltán's lecture, with opportunities to tailor each program to your interests. So we have general management MBA programs, but with a lot of opportunities for you to customize according to your needs and to your aspirations. We also have a very international focus with international study options for all of the programs included in the Global Online MBA. and highly international cohorts. So in our classroom, usually we will see 40 to 60 students, and from these students, we will have 80 to 90% of international students in the cohort. Also, another aspect is the career transformation. Of course, if you decide to start an MBA program, you are very career driven. So we ensure to have the leadership development embedded into the program, a career curriculum, and build experience with real world consulting projects as well. So ESMT Berlin is a leading business school. We are located in the heart of Berlin, close to corporations and to startups as well. And we have a very engaged ESMT alumni network, not only in Berlin and in Germany, but as well in other countries in Europe and in other continents as well. We have a world-class faculty. We are triple accredited, and we were founded by business. Now, going into detail into each one of our 4 options, we have the full-time MBA, which is a program that was designed for professionals that are looking to transform their career and change industry, role, location, or even the 3 of them simultaneously, which happen to around 60% of our graduates. This is a program starting in January. Applications are still open, by the way. If you want to start in January, we have our final deadline in November. We start in January and go for 15 months all the way into March of the following year. You will have core courses, but also you can choose to specialize in managerial analytics or innovation entrepreneurship. You have international options to do a semester abroad in one of our partner schools. You have an internship, social impact challenge, intensive German in case you're an international student moving to Germany. And we also have the summer entrepreneurship program that is highly recommended for students who are interested in the entrepreneurship environment. Here you can have an overview. We have a very diverse background of industries, students with around 30 years old, 30 nationalities in the classroom, and 100% international in the case of this class that started in January 24. Now, if you want to do your MBA, but you still want to keep on working while doing your MBA, you have 3 options. So now we'll talk a little bit about the part-time, which is a program delivered in a blended format. This means that 75% of the program, you have the flexibility of online learning. You can learn in different cities, different countries while you're traveling for work. And you have 25% in person in weekend residencies here. So you will start in September. You will have your first residency that takes up the whole week. And then after this introductory module, then you will have residencies over the weekend from Thursday evening till Saturday. You're expected to spend 28 days out of the office, spread throughout these 2 years and actually 3 calendar years. So it's quite flexible. You have a slightly higher average age in comparison to the full-time, 26 different nationalities and 69% international, and also a very diverse industry background as well. Now, if you're not located in Germany or in Europe and going to the in-person residencies, it's not feasible for you, you can also choose to do the Global Online MBA. This is a 2-year program, fully online, so you never have to show your face on campus if you don't want to, even for the graduation, which happens hybridly. But you can also have the opportunity in person during the Berlin Experience Week and the Global Experience Week. We have 2 intakes every year. This slide says May and September, but for 25, it's going to be pushed to June and October. So you can apply now to start in June or to start in October of the next year. And this is a program with general management, with technology and innovation embedded as well. Apart from the Berlin Experience Week and Global Experience Week, you also have the opportunity to tailor the program during the electives and have access to the small network online courses that is run as part of the GNM network. So GNM network is a network of 30 plus business schools spread across the globe that you can choose electives to take from them. So that's quite an extensive list of options that you have there. You also can add a personalized career coaching for an extra fee. You will have in-company project and final report and access to the global alumni network. For this program this year, we've had 102 students of 46 different nationalities and 75% international, with, again, a very diverse background as well with the industry. And last but not least, if you are more moving to the senior management, if you want to get to the C-level positions, we have the Executive MBA designed for you. This is a global executive program with an emphasis on personal effectiveness at senior managerial levels. And to apply for it, you need at least 7 years of work experience and at least 3 of them being managerial experience as a team lead. So the program starts in October. Applications for the next year intake will open on the 1st of November. And you will have 10 modules, each module with the duration of 1 week, 100% in person, with 6 modules taking place in Berlin and 4 international modules. You also have throughout the whole program, the leadership in practice, which is a combination of class seminars, workshops, group and individual coaching, and reflection assignments, which combined with the academic coursework, it's focused on your personal transition and development. This is a class 68% international with 26 different nationalities, and again, a very diverse background. So even if you're not from a business background, you're welcome to apply for one of our MBA programs. And here, to sum up, a small slide about our Career Development Center, which is going to follow all of our students from the MBA programs in their career development workshops, in the career fair, corporate visits on and off campus, individual career counseling, and the membership of Blue Steps for the Executive MBA students. So there are quite a lot of information available for you. And here is an example of some of the companies that join us for the last career fair that happened in the beginning of this year. And last but not least, I will give you 5 minutes for a few Q&A. So if you have any question about the programs, about admissions process, feel free to use the Q&A session. Thank you very much. So I see now that we have question from Yassine, if the EMBA is not online. Exactly. So this is a in-person program with 10 modules. The 10 modules are fully in person and they happen over the duration of 1 week. 6 in our campus, 6 modules in our campus and 4 modules online. 4 modules international. The only fully online program that we offer is the Global Online MBA. So we have another question, if we have intake for full-time MBA in September. Sadly, no, we only have 1 intake per year starting in January. So you still have time to apply to start in January of 25. If not, applications for the January 26 intake will open on the 1st of January 25. I see that I have a raised hand here, but if you can please use the Q&A session, that would be great. Okay, do you have GPA requirements? We don't have a minimum because we have a holistic view of the candidate. So basically, when you apply, we are looking at your grades, we are looking at the test scores, but we are also looking at your professional experience, your academic goals, your career goals as well. So all of that is going to count towards your admissions process. So we do not have a minimum, we do have an average though. You can check our admissions webpage on our website. Depending on each program, you will have the specific information for each program. And what is the decision timeline once the application has been submitted? This is a great question. Once you submit your application, we will be in touch with you to give you a reply and hopefully invite you for an interview. And then after the interview, the admissions committee will discuss your application. You can also apply for scholarships, and the answer that you will have about the offer and the scholarship will be given to you simultaneously. Depends on when you schedule your interview, but this process usually takes 1 to 2 months. And the application process for the part-time MBA, starting in September of next year, applications will open on the 1st of November this year. So in a couple of weeks, we will release all the information with the deadlines on our website. Will global online part-time and full-time lead to the same MBA degree? Yes, exactly. So regardless if you take the full-time, the part-time, the online, you all have the same MBA degree diploma after you graduate. So you will have the same diploma regardless of the program that you choose. And since we ran over a bit our timeline, I will answer to the last question. Can one get a German visa to study a part-time MBA? So this is a direction from the German government that they only issue student visas for full-time students, which means that if you want to get a visa to study in Germany, you need to apply for the full-time MBA. Alternatively, we have students that found a work here in Germany, have a work visa, and then take the part-time MBA. And okay, last question. How significant is the knowledge of statistics and other quantitative courses in the admissions process? This is a great question. For all of our programs, we ask for an admission test. If you don't come from a STEM background and if you don't have a PhD, you need to take a GMAT, a GRE, and also we offer the admission test from ESMT Berlin. So you need to have a moderate, at least quantitative and statistics skills to get into the program. So you can check all of the scores and details on our admissions webpage. But yes, we do ask for this test if you don't have a very strong quantitative background. So that said, thank you very much for sticking up towards the end of this session. It was great seeing you. And if you have any questions, we have our website with more information and also the email address that you can get in touch with us directly. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.